Most of the smartest people I know never finish their books. Not because they are not smart enough, but it's their smartness, cleverness that works against them. I've watched this a number of times as a publisher, as a writing coach, as somebody who has been an author on both sides of the table. I've watched this happen so many times, I cannot tell you. It's a pity. I'm going to tell you three specific reasons, three most crucial reasons and most non-obvious reasons because of which most books never get finished. Most books remain unfinished projects in your head or in your computer drive because of these three important reasons. And I can tell you, these are not the normal reasons you're expecting. So watch till the end and see what you think of these reasons. Hi and welcome. Quick reminder of who I am. If you have not been watching my channel, my name is Harshit Bhardwaj. I just started an author's forge, which is an actual forge for authors to get your books finished. I do suggest you go and watch my previous video on this channel that talks about my journey from zero upwards 3 times. I am a publisher. I have been in the publishing industry across all different parts. So I'm here to help you write your books. Back to the 3 reasons. The expert's instinct is to include everything that they know. Every caveat, every small detail, every well actually. And the book reads like rigor. It feels like noise. It comes across as encyclopedia. Too much information. This is what I call the Encyclopedia Trap. A book is never about everything that you know. It is actually a curation of your best ideas. So one of the most difficult things that happen when you are writing your book will be a series of decisions on what to include and what to exclude. So as I said, this writing process is a formal process that forces you to curate your most relevant and appropriate ideas for the topic of the book. It's not an encyclopedia, it's not a portfolio where you have to include every possible project that you've done in your life. So beware of the encyclopedia trap. You're going to face it the first thing you start writing your book. And I can also tell you why, probably this is my thinking, why people do this. So when you're writing your book for the first time, you feel that if you left something out, people might find you incomplete or amateurish or novice on that topic. That is also part of the imposter syndrome that I'll talk about in another video, which is a huge barrier to writing your first book. So the first trap is the encyclopedia trap. You don't have to write everything you know. You have to curate your best ideas. The second one actually flows from this encyclopedia trap, this internal feeling that I have to prove my expertise and my worth, and in order to do that I have to include everything possible that I know, leave no stone unturned. This second trap is called the credibility trap, and the most beautiful way to understand this, as I understood as when I was writing my book A to B, that at times I started feeling the need to prove my credibility. That okay, I'm writing about Google or Apple or XYZ. So I felt that the reader, whosoever the reader is, they might be thinking, where have you got this information from? What is your credibility to be talking about these ideas? Actually, that also comes from that bigger idea of imposter syndrome, because your average reader is not your university scholarly professor who's marking your book like an academic paper, and they are looking for citations and references, right? It's a book. Your reader is not going to ask what is the basis of this information, as long as it's correct and relevant and appropriate and you haven't made it up. If you've written it in a book and it holds the logic, it's credible. But most people would find this difficult because they'll be imagining their fiercest critics reading this bit of the book. So this credibility trap happens because when you're writing, you're imagining some of your fiercest critics or maybe colleagues or people you are afraid that they might read it and how would they judge it. Think about an average reader who's not out there with a knife, metaphorically speaking, to judge you and slay you and punish you. So get this credibility trap out of the way. As long as your logic, your argument is relevant and appropriate and it's not made up and it works in the text, it is fine. Your fiercest critics can do whatever they do, but while you're writing it, make it work. So the second trap is the credibility trap. The first one was the encyclopedia trap. Third one is even more important. The third trap is called the solo trap. This one is probably the number one reason why most books remain unwritten. The solo trap, as in when you're writing a book without an accountability partner or an accountability structure. So you decided to write your book and you started writing and you're writing and writing and writing. Book writing is not a straight ECG line. That's a dead patient's reading anyway. If you've seen my previous video where I talk about the straight ECG line, the book writing process goes 60, 70, 80 BPM. And it's up and down. It's like life's most difficult roller coaster. And if you're doing it solo, you're making it very, very hard to continue, and you're making it very, very easy to quit. Every book that I've seen die, it dies in isolation. Somewhere around month 2 and month 3. I don't have the data obviously, but in my experience, people who started writing, I was part of the process in some way or another, and after month 2 or 3 or 4th, it fizzles out. So the solo trap is all about structure, not discipline. So this isn't a discipline problem. This is a structure problem, because you have to sit and consistently do something month after month, week after week. When you have a publisher involved and they have given you a deadline, if you have an accountability partner and you're working on deadlines with each other, if you have a structure where you have to turn up, show up, produce the work, you'll be able to do it. But if there is no end goal, you don't know how long it should take, you don't know whether you're doing good or bad, most days are going to be challenging and hard. So the solo trap is one of the most difficult ones to master. Now the final part, the honest truth. The first two, the encyclopedia trap, the credibility trap, you can probably tackle it yourself. But the solo trap is something that obviously, that by principle, it is the solo trap. So you need somebody, some structure, some kind of a mechanism by which you have an accountability partner. I'm not trying to sell you Author's Forge, but that is one of the many reasons a cohort like this can help people write their books. So if you can find something like this around you, that will be probably the most important decision you'll take at the start of your book writing journey. Before I go, I'll really ask you to look at your writing process. Think about which of these 3 traps you have experienced already, And let me know in the comments if there is anything I can help you with. Please do feel free to reach out. This is Harshit Bhardwaj. Write your book well.